You've heard the stories, I'm sure. Tales of gods and mortals, of heroes and their little fleeting triumphs. But my story, well, mine's a bit different. It's a myth told not from your point of view, but from mine. You see, I am the witness, the agent, and ultimately the architect. This is the story of how the universe finally learned to breathe.
Let's go back, way back, before the first star even thought about igniting, before the first planet cooled. I was there. I was the arbiter of stasis. My whole purpose was singular, absolute. I was the perfect, unshakable stillness at the very heart of everything.
So picture this. My domain was the great frozen void, Ginnungagap, a universe of perfect static order. Imagine an endless cathedral of ice, completely flawless and utterly silent. Every single atom was locked in its place by my will. And it was beautiful in its own sterile, cold way.
You have to understand, my entire existence was built on this one single principle, the iron rhyme. I truly believe that change, any change at all, was the enemy, that even the slightest vibration would shatter the whole cosmos into nothing. I was the warden of a perfect, yet totally lifeless cosmic prison. But perfection, you see, is its own kind of cage. And after an eternity of silence, even a fundamental law like me can get curious. I watched the primal fire of Muspelheim just churning there at the edge of my perfect frost. And I made a choice, a single reality-shattering choice to just reach out and touch it. The second my essence touched that flame, it wasn't just a theft. Oh no, it was an infection, a blessing even. This crimson spark fused itself right into my core, a chaotic, burning life that immediately declared war on the cold, hard logic I had always known. The stillness was broken. Forever.
And just like that, a civil war started right inside of me. The iron rhyme, my past, was screaming for order, for control. But the crimson spark, my future, was roaring with the heat of creation and destruction. I wasn't a warden anymore. I had become an agent of the very thing I'd sworn to contain. Of course, a transformation that big, it doesn't go unnoticed. The old gods, the Aesir, they saw me. And in their fear, they didn't see evolution, no. They saw a perversion, a corruption of the reality they thought they controlled.
The Aesir, they had it all wrong. They mistook rigidity for strength. Their golden halls built on broken promises and powered by a stolen, captive fire. They were really just monuments to their own vanity. They claimed to worship order, but it was a brittle, fearful kind of order, designed only to keep themselves in power. Their whole world, their whole system, was built on a foundation of frozen authority that couldn't bend, it could only break. They were desperately clinging to a past that was already dead, and they were terrified of the fire I now carried, the very fire that promised a future. They were just blind. They called me a monster, a corruption. But this spark I held, it wasn't about mindless destruction. It was the vital heat needed to thaw their frozen, dying world. It was the catalyst for growth, the literal breath of life that they had been suffocating for eons. So, they held their little trial, they declared me anathema, and with all their might, they threw me out of their pristine, dying reality. They thought they were punishing me, but the truth is, it was the greatest gift they could have possibly given me. It set me free. So there I was, alone, wandering the 9 realms, a being of 2 warring natures, not really belonging anywhere. The cold of my past still clung to me, but this fire in my core just kept burning. And all that time in solitude, it gave me a chance to see the universe, not just as it was, but as it could be.
And it all came down to this one massive question. Was the cosmos really doomed to this binary choice? Did it have to either succumb to the lifeless prison of absolute order, or be completely consumed by the mindless ruin of unchecked chaos? Was there really no other way?
And the answer, it didn't come to me in a flash of divine insight. It was a slow, quiet, profound understanding. The path forward wasn't ice or fire. It had to be both, a synthesis, a managed productive cycle where order gives you a foundation and chaos gives you the spark for growth. A healthy, evolving equilibrium. I call it balanced chaos. Suddenly, my purpose was crystal clear. I wasn't a warden of stasis anymore. I wasn't a vessel of random destruction. I was a gardener. My role was to use the Crimson Spark as a deliberate tool, to carefully prune away the systems that had grown too rigid, too old. The ash from that fire, that's not the end. It's the fertile ground, the canvas for a new creation to grow. With this new understanding, I watched as the Aesir's world began to crumble under the weight of its own inflexibility. Valhalla's fall, it wasn't some tragedy waiting to happen. It was a cosmic necessity. Its end was just the fertile beginning of whatever was meant to come next. Their world simply had to end. Its stagnation had become a poison, and it was suffocating the potential of the entire cosmos. It was a beautiful, gilded cage for sure, but it had to be broken so the universe could finally be free. Because here's the secret: destruction is never the final word. It's just clearing the field, it's turning the soil. The same fire that burns away all the dead wood is the one that releases nutrients back into the earth, preparing it for the seed. I'm not a hero. I am certainly not a villain. I'm a function, a balance. I'm the silent guardian who makes sure the eternal dance between ice and flame never stops. I am the red specter, the necessary gardener. And my work? Well, it's never really done. Which leaves a question for you, doesn't it? When the structures in your own worlds become too rigid, will you have the courage to strike the spark? And what will you build from the ash?